In this video, we're going to be discussing Bitcoin and if now is the time to buy Bitcoin. I am not a Bitcoin fan. I just sell options on Bitcoin. Okay, so I bought some RIOT, which is a Bitcoin miner, and we're already down 6% on that, but I only have $500 in it. We sold a put in RIOT and Mara, and we closed the put for a gain to free up equity because we had 2,000 and puts on RIOT, and it's 100% maintenance. So we closed that out and just bought 500 of the security instead, which is still 100% maintenance. And then we left the sold put and Mara here. We received about $1,300 just for selling this put on Mara. So Mara strike price of 20, $13 premium. So you do 20 minus 13, and $7 is our break even. So about $7 is our break even for Mara. And if we go check out a chart of Mara, we'll see that it could go higher or lower, but we're just going to let our sold puts do the work because you never know about Bitcoin. I have some notes prepared about Bitcoin for you. So we're up $4,000 today, start the day. Estimated income is still above 100, and our performance should be a little bit better today. Well, it'll update at the end of the day. So let me share my notes with you on Bitcoin. Is now the time to buy Bitcoin? Investors are flocking to safety from the SVB fallout. So it's only natural to ask, is now the time to buy Bitcoin? Gold is also up, Bitcoin is up, and energy was up on the last couple of days. After it fell below 70 a barrel, energy was up. It could be down today, I don't know, but what's the picture that this is all putting together? So gold is up, Bitcoin is up, energy is up, but inflation is falling. How does this work? Usually when rates are falling, it's bearish for the dollar. When the dollar was skyrocketing last year, rates were rising. And therefore, this is good for gold since they have an inverse relationship. Gold and the dollar have an inverse relationship. So energy was falling on recession fears, but now it's bounced back above 70. So where's the recession at, I wonder? Also the Fed's Bullard is saying that we need to raise rates some. So if the economy is slowing, then why would you need to raise rates? You raise rates to combat high growth. Too strong of growth is when you raise rates. So how could we be near a recession, especially when employment is strong at 3 to 4%? I posited this question on my last video. Anyway, you still can't have it all in Bitcoin. You need qualifying income. So even if Bitcoin makes you rich and acts as a more stable form of currency, since there are no fail points along the way like you would see with money in a regulated banking system, how long can you wait for that when bills are due? Last year, if you were waiting for your bills to get paid, Bitcoin could not do it for you. And if you're flocking to it for a safety play over the banks, well, last year it didn't act as safety at all. It crashed. So what if this safety asset crashes again like in 2022? What if rates rise again from a strong economy, as Bullard alluded to? This hurts tech growth and hence Bitcoin again. So I just sell puts, have a small amount in outright Bitcoin, and let the dividends and the market indexes do the rest of my work to increase my earnings. So while Bitcoin is fun, I admit it is attractive and it moves, and I guess it has an allure to people since you can get rich quick off of it. The fact that it's stable and it acts as a way to protect yourself against the government, I don't believe that. I believe the government can cancel all things whenever they want to. We've seen what they did with Ukraine oligarchs when they canceled their Bitcoin, other criminals as well. And you've seen what happens if you speak out or, you go against the status quo. You can be canceled just like the protesters did at one point. I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to get in politics in my video, but, there are many protesters that came out and got their bank accounts canceled too. If you read those headlines from the past. So your bank accounts can get canceled. So why couldn't Bitcoin get canceled? They can track everything. You think they can't track that? Of course they can. So I don't buy Bitcoin for the security asset or the security side of things. I buy it just for the fun and not having FOMO, okay? And I do believe there could be a place in everyone's portfolio for Bitcoin as a digital store of gold over the coming years. But for right now, it's still erratic. It's still volatile. Buffett doesn't like it, which doesn't mean anything necessarily. It's just a factual point I wanted to throw in there. And so I'm an income guy. So if I'm going to, collect income through these dividends, which is 100K a year. I also want to sell these options to raise income. The options also lower my margin. My margin would be way higher right now if it wasn't for these options. We also unloaded a lot of options over the last week to reduce leverage. And we got a sign in one of our put options, sold puts, DPST, the regional banks. So it's up 7% today. And usually when you get a sign on these options, it's a good thing because they assign you at the lows. So I'm just going to keep DPST. We have the short on, we have FAS as well. We had a short on an FAZ, but I just closed that today because, you know, I can't lose anything if I had the short. I acknowledge that, but I could only lose 1,000 in FAS if we did go lower. I see things stabilizing over the weekend. Another bank was just acquired. I think part of Silicon Valley Bank was acquired. So I'm feeling more bullish on banks, and I feel the sector is a little more stable now. So I'm going to remove my sector-specific short on the financial since I have such a small amount. I'm gonna let DPST go because it doesn't even have a sector short. You have to sell it short in order to benefit. But I'm not going to sell DPST short right now when it's had such a huge drop. And SVB was an outlier. Not all regional banks act like SVB and perform their bond purchases like SVB. Most of these regional banks are hedged. They still have good loans. They're going to loan out. They still have high quality assets on their balance sheet. So this is my question for today: is now the time to buy Bitcoin? If so, why? Are there any other reasons to buy it besides a digital store of gold? Because that didn't work in 2022. And, you know, if it's going to just make you rich, well, any stock can make you rich, you know, any stock. Go buy, you know, Tesla, you know, go buy Apple. But, you know, Bitcoin, I get it. It has a much bigger beta in it. It has a much bigger return potential, but it doesn't, even if it pays you big, it doesn't give you qualifying income. So even if you made $1 million, you wouldn't be able to get loans from the banks. So you need steady income, and that's what these dividends provide, qualifying income from these dividends, which again are about 100,000 a year. So anyway, that'll do it for this video. I hope you liked my last few videos on calling. I'm not calling the bottoms. I'm just saying to buy here these dividend paying assets that pay back your losses. Even if the market falls, these dividends in 5 years will pay back the entire position. Cornerstone, 20% dividend, pays back our position in 5 years. USA, 10% dividend, pays back our position in 10 years, because 10% times 10 years is 100%. Cornerstone, we have 400,000 in this, so that 400,000 will be paid back in 5 years if we just sit here and hold it till maturity in a way, kind of like a bond, but we just hold it till it cash flows off the dividend. And the name of the game is that we don't get caught off guard like a Silicon Valley Bank where we have to sell early because we're in a margin call, because we use margin here. So I use margin. So if you're not using margin, you don't have to worry about this. But I don't want to have to sell at a loss. One of my unrealized losses here, Cornerstone, I don't want to have to sell it, and take a $37,000 loss. Before in Cornerstone, we were up 100,000 in each position at one point in 2021. But anyway, we're down. The stock market 22 took us down in Cornerstone, but we're still up in the position overall because of the dividends. And so anyway, these dividends will pay back the position in 5 years. So that's why we're still up percentage-wise over the market, because of the dividends. So anyway, again, I hope you liked the video. Leave comments if you think there's anything else that we all should be doing in this environment. Thank you very much.